Welcome to our today's class, and there's a question here that we want to look at. The question reads clearly: a line which joins the points A, 3, K and B, -2, 5 is parallel to another line whose equation is 5y plus 2x is equals to 10. So the question is actually asking you to get the value of k. So find the value of k, and that is going to give you 3 marks. So literally, we have two lines here that we have to actually look at. The first line is this, and the line has coordinates A, that is good, 3k, and B, -2, 5. That's the first line that has those two coordinates. That means this line passes through those 2 points. The first point, that is A, and maybe the second point, that is B. So this is my line, and that line has 2 points. This is the first point, point A, and this is the second point, point B. So the line passes through these 2 points, A and B. And there's another line, and this line has an equation 5y plus 2x is equals to 10. So what you need to know is that when two lines are put under consideration and those two lines tend to be parallel to each other, then that means those lines are moving in the same direction, but they will never meet. So that is a property of lines which are parallel to one another. So you have been told to get the value of k, and something to note which is very important is that two lines which are parallel to one another or moving in the same direction and never to meet at any point will always have the same gradient. Will always have the same gradient. Now look at this. In the first case, we have 3 and k, then -2 and 5. We can't get the gradient of this line because of this unknown value of k. But now in the second equation, we've been given the equation. The equation can help us get the gradient of this line. Once we have the gradient of this second line, it is easier for us to know the gradient of this other line because these two parallel lines must have the same gradient. So let's just write down the first equation, and that equation is 5y plus 2x is equals to 10. For us to get the gradient of this line, we are going to write this line in the form y is equals to mx plus c, so that from that you can be able to know that the gradient is m. Correct. So you have to rewrite that equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c for you to get the gradient of that line. So we shall say 5y, okay, I'm rewriting this equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So I'll say 5y, then I'll take the 2x on this side. So I'll have 5y is equals to 10 minus 2x. Why minus 2x? Because this is plus 2x. So when the plus 2x crosses this equal sign, it becomes minus 2x. I'll rearrange this. I'll have 5y is equals to minus 2x plus 10. You have to start with mx, then go to c. The c is the constant, which is now 10. So it has to be the last one to be written. So it will be minus 2x, then plus. You assume there's a positive here, so it will be plus 10. So I'll divide both sides by 5, by 5, by 5. So this and this will disappear. So y is equal to -2 over 5x plus 2. Of course, 10 divided by 5. So then that tells us that now, from this, that the equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c will be y is equals to -2 over 5x plus 2. So that -2 over 5 is our m. Correct. So our m is -2 over 5. So -2 over 5 is our m. That's our gradient. So our m, or our gradient, is equals to -2 over 5. From this end, of course, I'll say the gradient of this line is -2 over 5. And obviously, the gradient of this other line should also be -2 over 5 because they are parallel to one another. They must have the same gradient. They must have the same gradient. So that I can be able now to say that gradient of a line, I want to use this gradient and these 2 points to get the value of k. So I'll say gradient is equals to change in y over change in x. So I'll have g is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. My gradient, this one here, this g, is negative 2 over 5. So negative 2 over 5 is equals to, I'll take this to be my x1, this one to be my y1. Okay? This can be my x2, my y2. Correct. Yeah, so x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'll take y2, which is 5, less y1, which is k, over x2, negative 2, and x1, 3. So I'll have, at the end of the day, let me just write it here, negative 2 over 5 is equals to 5 minus k over negative 5. Where is negative 5 coming from? Negative 2 minus 3. So that I'll have a cross multiplication. I'll have negative 2 times negative 5 is equals to 5 times 5, 25, minus 5 times k, that is just 5k. Correct. So I'll have 10 is equals to 25 minus 5k. I'll take this on this other side. So 10 minus 25 is equals to 5k negative. So this will be negative 15 is equals to negative 5k. Divided by negative 5, divided by negative 5. So that my k is equals to 3. Correct. Thank you for your time.